Right. Welcome back to the Boys of 161st Street, episode 158. The Yankees have won 11 in a row. We are recording this live, actually, at the beginning of the first game in the Oakland Athletics series because it's a late start. It's a late start, and we are not going to record this episode. We're just not. We're not going to record it at 1 o'clock in the morning and end it at 2. We have live, so we're going to record it live during this game and probably for the next episode as well, because as you all know, we have, I think, 4 against Oakland and another 3 in LA against the Angels. So another late start there. Not ideal, but we are here. We're talking about the Yankees. We got a lot to talk about. Yankees are having fun. We're having fun. 11-game win streak. Who would have thought? Not me.
Not me.
Look at us. Kluber is on his way back. We got a lot of injury updates. We talk about the trust tree, Chapman rounding third, and we might just get into some voicemails at the end. Before we get into the Yankees and how fantastic they are, how are we doing, boys?
Can't complain. 11 in a row. It's got a good sound to it. My only gripe is that the Rays aren't losing either, but that's a whole different conversation. But I'm doing fantastic.
Pretty fucking tired of the Rays, but no, I'm doing great.
So they're playing the Orioles again.
The Rays are?
Isn't that crazy? Sorry,
That's
this
criminal.
is really off topic, but
No, it's not. I mean, it's kind of on topic. It's criminal.
Orioles are hot.
Yeah, and they're playing. The
Two-game
Orioles
win
are
streak.
playing. Yeah, they're playing the Angels tonight, right, Murphy?
no, they already won today.
I think they already won today. They won 13-1 today.
No, I know.
Against the
I
Angels.
was joking because
I thought it
Murphy
was
sent us the
joke, right.
TikTok of
Dude,
Ohtani
alright.
pitching at like 7 o'clock tonight. I was like, damn, this is gonna be poor guys have to face Ohtani.
No,
today.
I didn't mean it like that. I did not mean it like that.
Oh, either way, it was funny.
Still, yeah.
So the Yankees are good. James Tyone is on the mound right now against the Oakland Athletics, and it's funny because the Athletics are free falling, the Red Sox are free falling. The Red Sox are chanting. I don't know if that was last night, but I just saw that they were chanting the Yankees suck. So we got rent-free business going on in their head right now. So that's fantastic. I know that the Yankees fans do that too, but we're just going to ignore those people. And now that it's on the flip side of the coin, we're just going to laugh at the Red Sox because they are also free falling, and that is so fun to watch. But on the Rays, I was bored at work today and I was looking at their schedule. Didn't realize that I know that they're winning at a very great pace. They have, I think, the second best record in baseball right now. And if you look at their last like 10 or so plus games, they have been playing pretty shitty teams. So we do have my confidence meter, because for what feels like every game, it seems like they win every game. And that's in large part due to them playing bad teams right now. So like when I looked at that, I got a little more confidence in our ability to catch them. I don't think we're going to keep winning at this pace. It's impossible to win every single game. But, when they start playing some more formidable competition, I know they played the White Sox, but like the White Sox stink, apparently. So, I mean, it's just kind of wild that we won 11 games and I think we only gained 2.5 on them.
Look, we only need to play one game better than them until October. Then we got the 3-game series at home, and you control your own destiny. Play one game better for the next month. That's all I'm asking.
I mean, I'd rather have a little more breathing room than that, just because
I
that
would
series
love
would
more
be a
breathing
heart
room.
attack, and I would not be confident going into that right now.
I just don't
But
think it's realistic.
That's not realistic.
Because they are a good team. They're going to continue to win, regardless of them playing a little bit higher level of competition. They're going to keep winning. They went to the World Series last year. They're clearly not a fluke. They're a good team. They're just a really good team. They're going to win a lot of baseball games.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing.
If we're within striking distance, that's great. If not, I don't see why we can't keep winning games. Like, I don't know if we'll continue to win and go undefeated the rest of the way. Obviously not. But, we just got Gio back tonight. He's going to be a big-time producer. I don't know who got subbed out.
Odor.
Odor was the
Odor.
odd man out already. So
Yeah.
Velasquez is playing, because that's Gio's at third and Velasquez is still at shortstop. So he's going to be the odd man out.
Oh my!
And so you're doing exactly what I told you not to do.
I did no. That was just a genuine. That was egregious. You said if it was bad, it was in the other batter's box.
Okay, I'm going to mute you next time. But I don't know, man. I just think that with all the reinforcements on the way back, I feel confident that we can. This is obvious. I mean, it sounds obvious. Like we can get better from here, but I don't know. And in speaking of the other reinforcements, one reinforcement that I guess there's a little bit of controversy about is Corey Kluber is expected to start Monday versus the Angels. And I know I talked about this before we got on the air with Chandler, and Chandler seemed like he wanted to fight me because he's assuming what's inside of my head, and I don't think he quite understands where I'm going to go with it. So I'll be in the leadoff spot for this conversation. So if you haven't been paying attention to his rehab start, he's had some rehab starts for the Somerset Patriots and the Scranton Rail Riders. I think he had 2 starts, one of which he gave up 7 runs, and the other one I think he gave up 2 or 3 in a short outing. He's been walking a lot of guys, allowing a lot of hits, giving up a lot of runs. Hasn't really looked like he had a lot of control. This is kind of obvious coming off an injury. I don't know. Are we rushing him back? Because he hasn't had any sort of good start, and I feel like we've been doing just fine without him for the time being. I feel like if you rush him off, then we could be without him for the playoffs. I don't know. That's just we're on 11-game win streak right now. We're clearly okay for the time being. I know that's not a reason not to bring him up, but since he's not really pitching too hot and he's coming off an injury and he's an injury-prone pitcher on the backside of his career, I feel like this might be a little bit of a rush situation.
You do realize that in these rehab starts, he's not going out there trying to dice up the AA guys, right? He's like working on stuff. That was my point. He's not out there trying to throw a perfect game. He's trying to work on his location. He's working on one pitch in general. He's like trying to do something. He's working on something new every single start. He's not trying to go out there and put up a stat line.
I'm with you there.
Well, then why are you wanting to bench him? Like that's like
who said benching? I said,
you were like you said you're rushing him back. He's had like 5.
He said 2.
He has not had 2. That is wrong.
Then I'm looking at
you literally just said he's had 2 starts in Scranton, or 2 in Scranton, like 2 in the other one. He's had like 4 or 5.
Okay, well I've said he had 1 in each. Maybe I looked at the wrong thing, but regardless, I don't think I looked at the wrong thing. But you can fact check me on that because I know you're already doing it. But I don't know, man. If he hasn't looked fantastic out of the gates and we're winning 11 games, I think to play devil's advocate here, obviously I'd like to have Kluber on the team. That's not like, don't get it twisted on that. Like, but if we're doing all right now, is the risk worth the reward when we could get him back in another week or another 2 weeks? I'm not saying delay it, or you said bench him. I'm not trying to bench Kluber. I'm not trying to block him from coming up to the Yankees. The man threw a fucking no-hitter this year. He's a great pitcher. I love him. I'm just saying for the long haul, because we're slated in the playoffs right now, and I think we can make a serious run. So I don't want to rush him back if he's clearly not right. He was out for so long, and you know, he's not a guy who can really tolerate injuries very well. So I don't know. That's just to play devil's advocate.
I don't think you take him out that long for 2 reasons. One, what Chandler said, it's like preseason football. You don't judge a lot based off preseason football the same way you don't judge a lot based off what some guy does in AA when, like Chandler said, working on a pitch. Also, if you're delaying him 2 or 3 weeks, you're in mid-September and the playoffs start October, probably 5th for us. So wouldn't you want him to have a couple starts under his belt before the playoffs start? Even if, especially if we're on the win streak, because if we're losing, it's even worse to throw him out there when hasn't pitched well down in AA. So
also a valid point.
I feel like if there's ever a time to bring him back, it's good that we're winning. If we drop one because he sucks, fine. But
my thing is just you're never going to get that accurate gauge with him in AA and AAA. Like every time he's making a rehab start, there's never going to be a day down there where like, all right, Kluber, you know what? Go nuts. Give it everything you got. You're going 120 today, no matter what. We have to win this game. This is a must win. You're never going to get that in the minor leagues. Every single one is fine-tuning his mechanics, working on small stuff to be ready for it. And if he gives up 20, he doesn't give a shit because he's just getting ready to make the big league start and what matters. So if he doesn't come back immediately, how do you gauge when he is ready? Outside of turning him loose in a meaningless minor league game, which he could have done up in the majors. There's no accurate gauge other than this is your plan. We want to make sure your arm's feeling good. The results don't matter. That's the whole that's the whole point of any rehab, not just Kluber. It's the same with Voit. It's the same with Sevy. There's a set plan for all of these guys, and it's X amount of games. Results don't matter for them. They've done it on the biggest stage. Like you said, this guy's thrown a fucking no-hitter. He's won 2 Cy Youngs. I don't think they're worried about him production-wise producing against AA guys. They're working on his mechanics.
Well, you are when you're coming off injury. That's my thing.
At the big league level.
So that's the other thing, though, is like, what if his arm isn't right and that's why he's giving up
That's
all
what I
this
mean.
stuff? That's one other thing. But I feel like they would know if that's the problem.
But
They
So I
haven't
feel
really
like-
handled injuries very well in the past.
Well,
For
That's
people.
also fair.
So,
But like
that's
Rella
fine.
said, like his control wasn't there when he was doing his rehab starts, and if that's what you're working on, and also if that is literally your main key component of being a good pitcher is your control. And I'm talking about Kluber. Like Kluber doesn't pitch fast. He is control and he's accurate. That's what makes him a good pitcher. And if you don't have that, like you could be working on a pitch, sure, but if that pitch isn't where you want it to go, that's a problem, right? Like I get maybe that is with an issue with his arm. We don't know that, but I guess what I kind of agree with what Rel was saying. Like if you're not putting the ball where you're supposed to be putting it, that's kind of an issue if that's your entire reason why you're a good pitcher. It's
Agreed.
like it's like if Chapman was throwing 89 miles an hour a fastball, that's a problem because he only throws fast. It's like, that's the issue.
So I guess he's coming up. So all
We'll
this talk is for naught. We'll see if he does come up and just starts doing his damn thing, and he was in fact working on his stuff. But just a little bit of concern that's a little bit of a cause for concern. So just
That's fair.
keep an eye out for that. I was playing devil's advocate. Don't jump down my throat, you bastard. So
I
to
will.
round out the injury updates, Luis Severino actually has been cleared to resume his throwing program after a visit with Dr. Neil, whatever the hell his last name is. Not going to read that because I'm going to
deGrasse
butcher
Tyson.
it. That's not
That's
it.
what I
but
was thinking
We'll
too,
basically
Damon.
we'll call him Neil deGrasse Tyson. So that's shocking because we saw nothing but nothing, honestly, which was bad news. Like no news is bad news in the case of Sevy. So
Oh my god.
yeah, so I'm just shocked by this. I'm absolutely shocked by this. So, and we even said to each other, like, I'm writing off Severino until just like this for this entire year. So
Yeah.
if we get anything out of him, I'm super pumped. And I think we should still kind of operate under that assumption because we've seen him come back or be on his way back and then just another setback after another setback and after another setback. So I'm not going to read too deeply into this. I'm happy about it, but
I feel like at this point of the season, it's too far gone. Like if he was coming back next week, I would almost not even want him to because you've got to assume that maybe a month he gets 3 or 4 starts. Probably won't be the best because he hasn't pitched in almost 2 years, and then like you're gonna start him in the playoffs. So at this point, it's almost like doing ourselves a favor, I think, a little bit if he's like semi-healthy but not enough to come back yet. So like let him get a couple starts down there, but are we really confident in bringing him up at the end of September?
So I have a question, Chandler. How do you view this? Because do you view this similar to that of Kluber, or is this like how do you view them handling Sevy versus them handling Kluber?
Like if he does poorly, or just in general.
Just bringing him back, like
I feel like he's like I said, it's the same thing with every established major league guy that's rehabbing. He's got a specific program that regardless of results, as long as he feels healthy, they're gonna bring him back. You're not gonna go into the playoffs without Severino on your roster if he's healthy. Even if he's a reliever, I feel like he makes the team. They're not gonna cut the guy.
no
I
one's
mean,
saying cut. Like no,
I
that's
understand that. I never said you did. I'm just saying. You said, "How do you feel about it?" And you guys were talking about, "Yeah, I don't know how you want him back, like whenever, blah blah blah." I'm just saying. I just feel like he has a set rotation. It doesn't really matter what happens in his rehab starts. If he's healthy, he's going to be out there. I think it's going to be in a reliever role, but that is my
Agreed.
know.
This team's an absolute fucking
Yeah.
just steamrolling people. James Caprillion can go suck a fucking dick. Brett Gardner just dropped his nuts on the table.
Oh no,
Giancarlo
dude! Don't react
Stanton.
to the game. You're not supposed to react to the game.
I'm not just in the middle.
I'm
of
gonna
a
mute you. I'm gonna
Chandler,
mute.
come
I'm gonna
on.
mute you, dude.
All right,
No,
wait.
because
While
you
we're
were-
talking
in
about
the middle
game,
of a conversation for somebody else, you're just screaming, "Whoa!" The conversation ended, and I wanted to bring up a point that we are up to nothing for at the current moment. And Brett Gardner and Giancarlo Stanton hit home runs. And
Can I
that's
bring
all
up a
wanted to
point
say.
about the game?
Sure.
Can we talk about how absolutely fired up Boone was after that walk, and then what's happened in the rest of this
It
inning?
was a strikeout.
I feel like good things happen, or the strikeout should have been a walk.
It was
Yeah.
an egregious strikeout, which is why I was
Agreed.
pissed
Yes,
off.
exactly.
It was in
And
the
then-
other
so he
batter's
gets
box, and
fired
it's
up.
the second one so far this game. I think I had every right to be upset about it.
Speaking about
He-
Boone, are we starting to like Boone.
Okay, I've never not liked Boone. I've said this since day one.
Like
I've
Boone,
never
the guy. Like no one ever hated him as a person. I'm just saying he's made
How
some
do you
dumb
hate
decisions.
Here's
but
the
on
thing.
an 11-game win streak?
He's done nothing differently. They're just doing better.
That's
No,
not
he
correct.
has. That's not true.
And I
They're
wanted
stealing bases. They're playing different brands.
That's because they have different players that are
Exactly.
faster.
That's fine. Yeah, sure, but that's not his fault that he doesn't have the players to play that way. He's
So-
managing with the team he has, and he's doing a hell of a job right now. And I don't think
and I
anybody
agree.
can argue
You
differently.
said he hasn't done anything differently. I completely disagree with that. I wanted to get into that conversation a little bit when I talked about the Chapman stuff, but I will now. Like I'll just touch on that right now. Just specifically how he's handling Chapman is completely different, and we've talked about this before. Is he used to just do the easy thing and leave the closer in there because it's the decision that probably won't get him in any trouble because it's technically the right decision on paper, and if the closer fucks up, it's on the closer. He's starting to now manage and bringing in guys like Wandy Peralta to get the save when Chapman clearly doesn't have it. And before that, he brought in Abreu, and he's managing games. So I completely disagree with that. And he has made a few good pinch hits that I can remember too. Like he's managing the team well. I mean, in a 11-game win streak, like you guys said, like there's not really like some credit does have to go to the manager. A lot goes to the players, but the manager is also managing this team. And I have specifically noticed those ways he was handling Chapman, and I really liked that.
I definitely agree with that. I think we talked about this in the previous episode.
He
Like,
hasn't done anything different though.
what? No, but like,
No, I agree with you, Damon.
Let-
Like,
let's see-
what do you
let's say
do
this.
with? Sorry, your mic cut out on me.
Sorry, like, so I meant to say that because we're still doing the same thing with these scheduled off days. We're still like constructing the lineup like we've always done. Like he's not pulling this magic. He's not like doing anything differently in terms of an offensive side. Yes, he's made a couple good bullpen moves that have been staring him in the face, which is great. I'm not discounting that. He's just finally doing what he has been supposed to be doing.
Call me crazy, but I feel like the
But that's
schedule off
different
days
than what
have
he was.
absolutely lowered. Like there's only a few. Before earlier in the year, we were having one every other game. I feel like
When's
we
the
haven't
last
really
time?
had any scheduled off days. And don't even count the Voit conversation.
So
because
why isn't Voit
that's-
playing tonight?
That's not a scheduled off day. That's a DH situation.
So
Exactly.
why isn't
Why
he playing
does-
tonight?
It's a scheduled off day for Stant playing the field.
Is completely separate from the scheduled off day.
That still goes to managing
Judge
a
has
team,
not
though.
had a scheduled
It
off.
is.
That's
Yes,
not-
I was
that's
just
not
going to
his
say,
decision.
when's the last time Judge had a scheduled off day? That's
He
when
hasn't.
people were getting upset. When Judge, Stanton,
Stanton's
Voit
been playing
before
every
Rizzo
day.
were getting off days. Like
Damon, I'm on your
Stanton,
side.
Judge, even
It's
Gary's
like, okay,
been playing
congrats
pretty
for
much every
playing the
day.
players. Cool.
But my thing is like pulling Chapman back to that because I am 100% on your side, Damon. Pulling Chapman, that's a dead obvious move. He's coming off an injury and can't find the fucking strike. He just threw like 50 sliders in a row. Like that is, if you miss that call, you should be fired on the spot. You shouldn't even be allowed back on the team bus. Like that is bare minimum to be a Major League Baseball coach, manager, whatever the fuck. You have to be able to spot the obvious. And it's not like he's doing anything crazy different with the rest of the bullpen. Like you said, the players are just playing better. He's made these calls before and they've bit him in the ass. We're like, why the fuck did Boone put in player X? Why did Boone put in Litke after, Loizaga gave up one hit? And then we just do this. It's the same cycle over and over. Now
Because
it's
it
just so
worked.
happens that they're paying off. Like,
Yeah, 'cause
and
it
how
worked.
many? And we're in. It's like a magical stretch right now. Wandy Peralta got hit with a 150-mile-an-hour comebacker and threw an absolute fucking laser to first to save a game. He came in and Freddie Freeman hit a laser to the outfield and just so happened to land right in Gallo's glove. Another lucky thing. He's getting lucky, which, credit to him. He's making good moves, yeah, on paper, but these are the same exact moves he's been making all year. They just bit him in the ass before.
But they were bad moves before because we were talking about how these are all bad moves. And then even if he is making, say, the same moves, now they're good moves when they were bad before. So
You don't
like,
wanna know
he's
why?
obviously doing
You
something
want to know why,
different.
Murph? Because the players are playing better.
Right. I'm not disagreeing with that. They
So
absolutely
he's
are playing
making the
better.
same
It's not like
moves.
it's Boone's fault we're on an 11-game
They're
win
just
streak,
playing
but
better.
he's not
Again,
fucking up.
I'm not discrediting him in any means. I'm just saying he's doing a good job managing the team. I'm not saying he's like putting this magical formula together and he's the reason why we're on an 11-game win streak right now.
Oh, yeah. Neither am
Or
I.
like he was the reason the team turned around. No, we turned the team around because we got new guys, people got healthy, we started playing better. And you know how much easier it is to manage a team that's playing better than to manage a team
No,
that
you're
can't
right.
fucking hit a ball?
You want to
can't
know
find
what
a
the
zone?
biggest
But
thing
like,
is?
it's just yeah, go.
Okay, did you listen to Jameson Tyon talking the other day in his interview? This is the biggest thing. I don't care what Boone did. I know the trade deadline helped, but he was like, yeah, I feel like guys are finally, we had a lot of new guys come in this year, so I feel like everybody's kind of coming out of their shell and we're kind of gelling as a team. And I was listening to CC Sabathia talk about that. Again, I reference that a lot. It's something I listen to pretty frequently because who better to give you insight than a guy that was the fucking soul of the Yankees while he was there? Like, he was talking about it too. He's like, yeah, you bring in guys, it switches up. He's like, when I first got to New York, my first month there, all I thought of was, why the fuck am I not in LA right now? Like, I made a huge mistake and I have to live with this for 8 years. He kept talking about it. He's like, yeah, then I got to know the guys, I embraced it, whatever, and I fucking loved it. I can tell you the exact moment I turned my Yankee career around and my baseball career around with the Yankees, and so on and so forth. And that's what JMO was talking about like a week ago. He was like, you know what? Everybody's kind of being themselves and we're having fun again. And that's something we bitched about all year when they were 41 and 41. We're like, these guys look fucking lifeless. And even the players are admitting now, like, yeah, we weren't comfortable. Now everybody's comfortable and look what's happening.
It's starting to click. There's no better word.
I think that is more to do with it than the manager, which maybe Boone is helping him click behind closed doors. I don't know, but I think that if there's one thing I had to pinpoint as to why things are going right, it's not necessarily one player doing one thing or one player doing whatever. It's the fact that everybody's kind of starting to get to know each other and there's starting to be chemistry rather than just a bunch of names on paper.
Yeah, and I think going back to a point that you kept bringing up a lot throughout the entire season was playing selfish baseball. And that's something that they have not – I personally, I feel like they have not been doing that. They've been actually playing like a team, meshing together, having fun. And when all those things are clicking and they're winning games, it makes managing that team so much easier and so much better. But
all right.
Yeah.
Enough on Boone. Let's move on. Just to round out the injuries before we get into a couple other things and rounding third, which we have a lot of rounding thirds. You guys really crushed it in the swipe up to give us some stuff to talk about and buy or sell those. But to round out the injury updates, Glaber is trending toward beginning his rehab assignment by the end of the week, according to Aaron Boone. Other injury news, Britton, apparently there is surgery on the table, so he may not get the chance to come off the sun this season. Hasn't really been that great this season. Obviously, I hope he comes back healthy. We're better when we have him versus not having him. So for anyone saying like, oh, who cares? Like, you're wrong. Britton's a good pitcher. He's had some bad moments this year. Chandler hates him, but that's obviously bad news. And honestly, this is a different conversation too that we could have. I wanted to talk about, and wait, hold on, before I say that, yeah, no, that's all the injury updates. So I wanted to talk about our thoughts on the rotation, because we're talking about Kluber coming back and Sevy coming back. What will they be? Who knows what they're going to be able to do, what capacity they can perform, how many innings they can eat. What are our thoughts on the rotation? Like, we're obviously, everything's sunshine and rainbows right now because we're winning 11 straight, but when we go through a stretch where we're playing 500 baseball and like we're not just beating the crap out of teams, where do we feel like this rotation can go in the playoffs? Like, if we're going up in a playoff series with good teams, playoff teams, I don't really know how much I love the rotation. I don't love it. I feel like a lot of it's dependent on Kluber and Sevy coming back. Like, if you eliminate those two, are we really, really, really confident in, you know, a Luis Gil coming up and getting a big role there, or whatever the hell is happening with Domingo? I'm just gonna write him off too. But like, Nestor Cortez, I love Nestor Cortez. Are we really set on him being a star? Like, what are our thoughts on the rotation as a whole heading into the playoffs? Because we're coming up on it. The season is nearly over, and we're coming up to the playoffs. What is all of the fucking faces out of you, Chandler? You're also muted, so you can go kick rocks. Murph,
did you have a bad day at work or something? What are you talking about, dude? Our first three guys are Cole, Tyone, and Montgomery, who are pretty damn good. Cole is Garrett Cole. Tyone's been the best pitcher in baseball for the last 2 months. And then Montgomery's just been solid since he's been a Yankee. He's your 3-starter. And then Nestor, who's been great. And like we've talked about with Nestor and the other guys, you can do. Angry. I am angry because things are good right now, and you just keep shitting all over everybody.
No, I'm not. I'm bringing up a conversation. I'm just starting a fucking
You just
conversation.
said I don't feel good about it. How do you not feel good about these guys? And we've bitched about it all year. We're like, yeah, the rotation's been fine, but I don't know if it's sustainable. Well, guess what? They're almost to September and it's sustained. So Nestor
It's also
Cortez
been
is the real
super
deal.
duper streaky. That's why it's not sustained. It's playing well now, but there were moments where they were the fucking worst rotation on the planet. There were moments where the best rotation on the planet. That's why I'm bringing up this conversation, because it's not as surefire as it currently is in an 11-game win streak. Everything is masked during an 11-game win streak.
Your 1, 2, 3 are solidified. There is not changing. There's no changing that.
Okay,
Kluber's
fine.
not going to be healthy enough, and that's a fucking good 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I gotta agree with Chandler on this one.
I
And
know,
you're in a postseason where your 1, 2, 3 are your bread and butter. That's your thing. You need your 1, 2, 3 to be rock solid. You piece it together from there based on the bullpen situation, shit like that. Unless you're the Dodgers, who have every Cy Young winner to ever play. So you get your top 3, and that's a damn good 1, 2, 3. I'd take that 1, 2, 3 up against pretty much any team in the American League.
Gonna have to match up against the Dodgers. That's why I bring it up, because the rotations we're looking at that we're gonna be playing against, and maybe it's more of a conversation about the bullpen with Britton going down too, because the bullpen isn't like super duper deep, and I don't know. It's just, I'm just looking at it. The bats top to bottom are unfucking leavable. It's just I don't know.
Murphy,
I'm
what
just
do you
looking
got?
at it compared to other teams.
No, I was just gonna say, like, we have that solidified 1, 2, 3 that Chandler's talking about, but then we also have a jackknife in Nestor Cortez, who no, I'm like joking, but I'm dead serious. Like, he can start a game if we need him to, and he can come out of the bullpen if we need him to, and he's been pitching outstanding. So until people catch on to his like little funky delivery that he's got, I feel like he's going to be just as effective,
Dude, here's
as
the thing.
he has
Oh,
been
sorry.
all year. So that just adds to it. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, taking a look at the rotation, Cole, Tyone, Montgomery, I'm pretty confident in those 3 right there. If Kluber comes back and he is what he was before he got injured, that's amazing. That's the rotation right there. And then if Kluber comes back and he can be a reliable 4th starter, then Cortez goes to the bullpen. And he is still Nestor Cortez, and like the jackknife that Murphy has coined.
Trademarked the jackknife.
Yeah, thank you.
That-
I like that.
You know how much better the bullpen gets with Nestor Cortez coming out of there? And he can throw 4 innings out of the pen if we need him to.
He threw 100 pitches the other day.
Yeah, so that's the thing. If
Exactly.
we need him, if somebody gets, banged around early in the 2nd inning and lets up 4 runs or something, then Nestor can come in and pitch from the 3rd inning until like the 8th.
Yeah, and
If we really need him to, if the bullpen's taxed and somebody gets shelled.
bullpens really do win playoff games because
The cool thing about Severino too is that he's got experience out of the bullpen, and he was fucking awesome. That's what got him his starting spot back. If you remember correctly, he came up, he was awesome, came out the next year, got shit on, got sit down, came up as a bullpen arm, was really damn good, and then got brought back in the rotation. He could
did
do it
what
out of the pen.
He did what I thought Loizaga was going to do, except Loizaga stayed in the bullpen.
Loizaga is awesome. Speaking
So
of Jack,
why don't we-
Another jack.
This is a good segue, people. So why don't we hop right into the trust tree for the bullpen? So on 3, I want all of us to say out loud our personal, this isn't the best pitcher on the team. This is your favorite, like whoever you are most confident in on the team when they go out there. 1, 2, 3, Loizaga.
Loizaga.
Okay.
as if there would be anything else.
No, I just wanted to make. I was borderline gonna, as a joke, say Nestor Cortez, but it's like close to not being a joke, to be honest. Like Loizaga is the obvious choice there. He has had like the last time where he got out of that, he wiggled his way out of that bases loaded situation. He did self-inflict that, but he did get out of it. But Nestor Cortez is closer than you would think when you say Loizaga and Nestor Cortez in the same sentence. Like, it's wild. If you had not been watching this team all year, and I just told you, a regular baseball fan of a different team, I think Nestor Cortez is the second best reliever on the Yankees.
No.
They would literally laugh in your face and be like, "What are you talking about? Are you talking about that cartoon character? How the hell could he be the second best reliever on the Yankees?" I mean, I don't even want to consider him a reliever because he's been mainly a starter this year. But like, kind of wild the full circle just Nestor Cortez.
If you told me preseason that we'd be talking about Loizaga and Cortez as two of our like most confident pitchers, I would have guessed that our winning percentage was like 0.25.
Yeah,
let me
Loizaga
add on to that.
Also had a huge turnaround this year too. We're forgetting about that. He literally went from a young guy, just raw potential, not really much to him. To be honest, we were really shaky when he was coming in the game, and we were all fucking scared. And now that's why I'll give credit to Chandler here. He saw it. I mean, everybody knows that he has this stuff. And Chandler was saying they were grooming him for the closer role. And I see it completely right now. And I'll tip my cap to Chandler on that. But it's just wild that the top two that we're talking about right now, both were an afterthought before the season. So
you want to know what's even funnier is that the one that's battling those two is fucking Wandy Peralta.
That's the other one that popped into my head. That's funny
exactly.
You say that,
you know what?
Since he's been a Yankee.
Wandy Peralta, since I know you're a big fan of the show and you're listening to this right now, I apologize for everything I've said to you. I absolutely am in love with Wandy Peralta. I would let Wandy Peralta marry my daughter if I had one. I mean, that guy's a fucking bulldog. He is the man.
Talk about winning a trade. Like,
can
when
we talk
traded
about
Tauchman
one
for
thing?
him, I was like, you got to be kidding me. We need outfield depth. Why are we making that trade? And now, like,
yeah, he's fucking Wandy
Tauchman
Peralta.
can piss right off. Like,
exactly.
Who cares?
Yeah, we got Tyler Wade now. Speaking of which, does the sun make people better?
No,
Tyler Wade.
I think it's
Brett Gardner, Wandy Peralta.
I think we've been handling it well. Like, we haven't been overreacting to a game. And if we put you on the sun, I feel like they hear it and they start to play better and they come off. And when we take them off, I feel like we've been taking them off at the right time. And then as soon as they come off, they get that 161 bump. And then they just go crazy. Like, the second we took Wandy off, we took him off after the opener situation, and then he had like another 2 shutout innings. But then after that, he did that comebacker flipperama. He threw it onto his back foot. Like, he's been absolutely lights out since then. And Wade has been literally one of our best fucking hitters. He was on Hot or Not last week, and he had a 200 WRC plus. Like, it's just, the 161 bump is real. So we have to really, there's a lot of power in our hands right now, and we have to be responsible. Like, we can't just, we have to really take this seriously, because the current members of the Sun, although I don't really see, Brooks Kriske and Nick Nelson getting a big 161 bump, like they're topping out at like, hey, congrats, you struck somebody out. But like, I don't know. I think I'm happy. I'm happy. How's Sessa doing? Because we took him off the Sun, but I wonder if he got.
We took him off the Sun, and then he got traded for what turned out to be Joey Gallo. So I'm going to take that as a good thing.
I call that a success.
I call that a success.
All right,
dude.
So
it's like somebody said in a comment somewhere. Before you move on, real quick, somebody said prison changes people, and that's I saw that as a comment on one of our things. And there you go.
Well put. So speaking of prison, Aroldis Chapman, he didn't go to prison, but he may as well have. Aroldis Chapman, this isn't the Sun episode. That's the Tuesday episode, but I think we can expedite the vote for the Chapman Sun situation. I mean, just one little thing on him before we go to a vote. I don't know how somebody can go from being the most dominant version of themselves, and I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, because I was apparently having a bad day at work and being upset for the first half of this episode. I love this team. They're doing fantastic. They're winning 3-0 as we're talking about this right now. Joey Gallo is probably going to hit a fucking home run, but there is a glaring issue, and I want, like, now that we're playing so well, we played ourselves into more like controversy. We have real issues now. If we weren't making the playoffs, it wouldn't fucking matter what we do with the closer. But now we have a legitimate conversation. And after a few, rough outings for Chapman during his bad like stretch of games, and now he gets injured and he's coming back and he's not really doing too hot, I feel like the conversation is a legitimate one right now. Did Gallo just hit a home run?
Yeah, he did. Good call.
So I fucking called it. That's fantastic.
Dude, it hasn't even happened for me yet.
It didn't happen for us too, but I saw it in the back of Chandler's thing, and he was
oh my
cheering.
Lord.
What a call by Luke right now. But I really think this is a legitimate conversation to get back on track here. Like Chapman, I really don't get how you can go from being the most dominant version of yourself, literally the most dominant reliever we've ever seen in the first half of this year. And I know he probably used a gallon of Spider Tack, and that's obvious. But even so, everybody else in the league seemed to have figured it out. Garrett Cole was the leader of the Spider Tack guild, and he's starting to figure it out. Like, he obviously had some growing pains pitching raw, but he's figured it out. He's pitching very well. He's right back in the AL Cy Young race. I don't know. Like, this kind of shit with Chapman just cannot happen in the playoffs. That's why last night is a perfect example as why this conversation is legit. And it's kind of obvious. Like, my heart can't handle that last night coming into the game. And it's just, I don't know if it'll just go away with more time and like him getting more starts because he's coming off an injury, but no, it's not. Loaiza's great. So, like, this could be a real thing. So let's have the conversation.
But it's not even like, yes, whatever. 2 nights ago when they faced the Braves, that was terrible. But it's like, this is something that I feel like I just always watch, is he just comes into situations and it's never easy. Or at least as of recently, it's just never easy. Yes, he may or may not get the save. He may or may not just get out of a jam, but he pitches himself into a jam. As of recently, I can't remember a time he hasn't done that. And it's just been so bad. And I do not want that. I cannot have that in a playoff game. I literally, I don't think my body can take that.
So my solution to this,
here we go.
For the record, I don't think, what does that fucking mean?
Would it be this?
I don't know. It's going to be something.
What are you pointing He's at? going to jail.
You want to send him to jail?
No, as a matter of fact, I'm on Chapman's side.
Oh.
So
please go on.
Oh, how fun.
My solution to this is, one, he's working back from an injury, and I was actually reading about it today in preparation for this. So in his first 23 games, he allowed 1 run. Then since then, he has an 8 ERA, but that was mainly because of the June inflation where he just died and forgot how to pitch. After his month of June, he went back down to sub 1 ERA, and then he went on the IL. And then when he went on the IL, he had an elbow problem. The dude throws 100+ miles an hour. I get that it's going to take time to dial that back in. Chapman's a guy, a clear-cut case of, he's like a head case. If he's on, hold on one second, Damon. I got a little bit of a rant here, and then I'm gonna go right back to you.
I'm not saying anything.
Oh, I thought I saw you put your hand up.
Yeah.
But so he's kind of a head case. When he's on and he's confident in all 3 of his pitches, he's a true 3-pitch pitcher when he's on, with the fastball, slider, and splitter, and all 3 are plus pitches. When he's on, he's unhittable. He's unhittable. We've seen it. I think part of this is due to the rust, the injury not being fully whatever. My solution to this would be let Loaiza and Chapman, kind of alternate as we go on. Work them both in there, whatever you're doing. So you're simultaneously getting Chapman back into the swing of things, and you're giving Loaiza a tryout. And then you let it solve itself. And if it's not solved by the playoffs, you do it by committee, and you just play the hot hand. Because I don't think Chapman – I think Chapman's a solidified veteran. He's going to probably be a Hall of Famer. He's one of the better closers to do it, at least that we've watched in our lifetimes. He has the benefit of the doubt. It's like the Bears. You got fucking Andy Dalton starting at quarterback when you have the young electric Justin Fields. So it's just the way it goes in sports in general. You have the veteran incumbent, guy that everybody knows. It's going to be hard to dethrone him. I think that you can dethrone him. I just think it's going to take time. And I think that, in my opinion, that should play out through September. You need to work them both, see what they both have. If it really is just rust for Chapman and he comes back and he's doing it again, because as a whole, his October numbers are pretty damn good. I know he has a few moments that stick out in our head, and they've been fucking terrible. The moments that we remember are terrible. They're year-ending moments. But as a whole, he's been pretty damn good in October. Loaiza has never done it in October. I get the argument for both. That's all I'm saying. I don't think it's as clear-cut as people think. I think the choice that people are making right now is emotional. I think there's definitely a conversation to be had, but I don't think it's as clear-cut as people think.
So
Sorry for the rant.
No, that was perfect. But one quick thing to add to that too. I like what you said about like the giving him basically a tryout thing. The reason why this conversation kind of has to happen now is because you can't do that in the like day one of the playoffs.
Absolutely not.
You can't just be like, oh yeah, Chapman didn't have it for like, let's say worst case scenario, Chapman continues to pitch like this, and then October 1st comes around, and you're just like, yeah, you know what? We're not gonna go with Chapman. We're just gonna go with Loaisiga, and you didn't give him a chance to groom into that closer role, that's even these next couple months. They're not even next couple months. That would be a quick groom, but even that would give him a little bit of time to get acclimated before throwing him into a literal fire in the playoffs. Like, he's going to be in the highest leverage situations. Granted,
but he
clearly shows he can get out of them. Like, that was the highest leverage situation, and he struck out all three to get out of it, and then he was just screaming. Like, he's got it. I'm just saying, the reason why I'm kind of glad we started to have this conversation now is because the decision needs to be made now. Especially
the bottom line is there's no room for egos when you get to October. All things are out the window. You do what you have to do to win. I don't know that Boone and the analytics douchebags have the gall and the nuts to take Chapman out of the closer role. But if it continues this way, it has to happen. You can't save somebody's ego. But you know what? On the flip side of that, he could very easily turn it back on. So, like I said, the only option, in my opinion, which I'm sure will happen because everything I say always comes right, which is definitely not true. But the only option is to let Chapman work back, ease him back in while giving Loaisiga a tryout. That's the only option, in my opinion. I just don't know what else you can do.
Let me ask you a question, Chandler.
Let me answer you a question, Damon.
Do you think they brought Chapman back too early from injury?
Oh, full circle conversation. He was the fucking doctor
that I don't know.
Saying that people are okay.
Here's the thing. Sure, his arm.
I'm not a doctor. No. Fuck you. I never say it was okay. I said everybody's got a plan, and if they get through it healthy, which I don't decide, they don't, believe it or not, Corey Kluber didn't come to me and tell me how his shoulder was feeling.
All right.
I'm just saying.
Chandler, here's the thing, PhD in cucking people.
Chandler, here's the thing. We just said before that if Chapman is not throwing 100 plus or at least sitting 99 and throwing fast fastballs like he does, he's not a good pitcher. And if he doesn't have his stuff, he's not going to be a good closer. And if that's a result of bringing him back too soon, full circle, go back to Kluber really quickly. If Kluber doesn't have his stuff and his accuracy, it's too early to bring him back as a recipe for disaster. It's a little bit different because Kluber will be pitching in high leverage closing situations with the game on the line. He could. But
Chapman's never had a rehab thing ever, though. Like you guys have been saying, like how would we know? I think they did bring it back too early.
We know
honestly.
because he's throwing 96 miles an hour. That's how we know.
Well, is that on the flip side of that?
And he can't find the plate.
One, I agree with you. I think they brought it back too early. But two, on the flip side of that, whenever he's lacking confidence, this isn't like I said earlier. This isn't new for him. Whenever he's at his worst and he's not confident in his pitches, he is throwing 96 because he's trying to locate it. He's trying to pinpoint something, and he just fucking shits the bed. The best when Chapman's at his best, he doesn't give a fuck about anything that the catcher's calling. All he sees is the one. He doesn't see the location. I'm rearing back, and I'm pitching rather than trying to locate. Whenever you see him throw 96, I don't think it's necessarily due to injury. It might be. I'm just saying I don't think it's always the case. I think it's more of a fact of him trying too hard to locate rather than pitch.
Either way, though, that's still that's too streaky of a pitching history to be throwing out there in a closer role in the playoffs.
I never said that he should be. I said you need to see what happens. If the playoffs started tomorrow, he would most definitely not be my closer. Agreed. That's why I said go through the month, see if he's healthy, see if it's a rust thing, if he's not healthy, if he kicks off the rust, whatever the case may be. If that's the case, and he can get back to his normal self, so be it. You have to roll with him. You don't really have a choice at that point if he gets back to the dominant closer that he is. If he goes through the month and he is still throwing 96 and he can't throw a strike and he's throwing 30 sliders in an inning because he can't throw the fastball for a strike, then abso-fucking-lutely he's not your closer. I mean, you let the situation play itself out.
Throw him in the 8th inning. seventh inning a
I would
couple
like
times.
to see him tonight, but we're too damn good, so I don't really think we'll have a safe situation.
It might be
Chapman
perfect
just
opportunity.
Don't
Throw
say
him in,
that.
throw him out
You better
there.
knock on some wood. Go find the nearest piece of wood and fucking bang your head
We got wood
against
right
it. What are
behind
you
us.
doing there?
Well, what about that? Maybe what if we do bring him in like a 4 or a 5 run
There
game
we
in
go,
the ninth
Murphy.
inning?
He
Maybe
gets
give
it.
him a little bit of a
Yeah, then he
without
can-
the high leverage, let him
Amen.
throw, and then we have the buffer to
I
pull
mean,
him if we
Murphy,
need to. But
here's the thing, Murphy. Like Chapman has been getting those innings and he's been blowing it. So I guess it's similar situations to the closer getting right now. So I don't know.
no, you're right. Can we talk about how much he was sweating against the Braves to the point where he
always
had to
sweats,
put
dude.
No. This was like, I know he always sweats. This was like dripping off the brim of his hat. He was putting the rosin bag on the brim of his hat so
Yeah,
the
it was
sweat wouldn't
gross.
drip in his face. It was like more than I've ever seen him sweat. It was.
Yeah. No, I
I don't
literally
think
saw
a
it
human
dripping.
being should be able to sweat that
Yeah.
much.
No.
It's like it's not. I
That-
sweat
that
a
was
lot.
a
I don't
mixture
sweat like
of that was a mixture of his regular sweatingness, his physical, like just working a lot out there, and I think the emotional. I know everybody's gonna say that I suck. Like he was like stressed out. It's just like a combination of all the things. He was
I'm telling you,
literally
man, he's
a
a head
geyser.
case.
Also,
The
not
man's
to
a head
talk about the
case.
game, but maybe we will see him considering it's now
That's
6-2.
what I'm saying. Ever
Yeah, I
since
just
you
jinxed it.
said that, they just hit back-to-back home runs.
Oh, I knocked on wood, so we're done with that. So let's get
Also-
we'll get to rounding third. What do you
Real-
have to say?
I just wanted to give credit to the Braves because when they turned the lights out and did the chop, it was kind of cool, but still fuck the Braves. But
I'm not gonna lie, that was really
it was cool. That probably had to do something. Imagine how much he was sweating in the dugout walking off to that.
Oh my god, yeah.
I mean, he
Yeah.
was slipping on his cleats.
I
When he
mean,
got
we're
in
wearing
there.
gray uniforms. I don't know how he wasn't sweating through like the gray uniform.
He wears like a fucking
Probably
6-inch
like 11,
thick.
11 undershirts.
No, dude, have you
Yeah,
seen his
I
undershirt?
guess.
It's like a fucking Kevlar vest.
Bulletproof, yeah.
He's
Yeah,
going
I didn't
skiing
say.
in Atlanta. I don't-
Okay,
dude, I don't
get
know.
to your
It's
rounding
crazy.
thirds, Luke. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
That's okay. My microphone fell off. First rounding third comes to us from April Fisher DPT. Sorry, I'm going to butcher these names. Just a fair warning. She says, "We catch the Rays." So, I mean, that's totally not out of the
Buy.
question. I'm gonna buy that. Like, I think we can. I think the way this team's playing, absolutely. I think once the Rays start to play some better competition, they have been playing a ton of the Orioles, a ton of bad teams other than the White Sox, who actually, like we said too, suck. So I don't know, man. I think it's absolutely a possibility, and I think, like Chandler said before, if we inch our way back, there's a series that is 3 games at the very end of the season. It's the last series. I will be going to that game, and I mean that could be it. That could be for the division. So we'll see.
Maybe
I mean,
I'll
it's
come to
close
New
right
York
now.
for that whole week. I'll come to that series, and if we do the wild card, I'll stay for that.
You should.
There's
That'd be
my
a good idea.
commitment to the people that live in New York.
That would be fun. Next one comes to us, and Murphy's going to handle this one from Matina F. Luis Gill deserves a rotation spot more than Kluber. Murph, what do you think?
That's a loaded question. You know what?
I
Short
mean,
It
answer.
depends.
Short
It
answer. Short answer. I'm
depends.
with that. I'm kind of with that. But if that's the case, then I need to see Gil. Like, I don't think that's going to happen. Let me preface it by saying that is absolutely not going to happen. But I would be okay with that if Kluber has consistently been on the team and in the rotation as of now. You can't just all of a sudden be like, yeah, you're in the rotation for the playoffs. So like that won't happen. But right now, if we had a wild card game tomorrow and for some reason we had to start one of those two, I would much rather see Luis Gil.
I don't agree that it's going to happen either, but like, I mean, he has pitched more in the months leading up to the playoffs. So like, there's that. So
Yeah, but I mean, it's not going to come to either of those. Like,
I know
don't
it's
think
not going to
either.
happen.
So
but
like,
if we were running the show, I think it's not outlandish. I don't know.
I don't think I don't think you're picking him over. I don't think they would ever pick him over Kluber, but I do think if Kluber doesn't come back and like can't find the zone, is not pitching well, maybe like his injury is lingering and gets hurt again. I don't think it's so outlandish to have Gil come up and start a game.
See, here's the thing. I think he would. I personally would put him in the 5. I think that's just me. I'd move Nestor to the bullpen and have him be the guy who just comes in whenever there's trouble, and he can just clean that up real quick because he's the best pitcher on the planet. He's literally a jackknife that Murphy just decided to trademark. But like, I think if you were to put him in a spot right now, it's a conversation for Kluber. I think obviously Kluber is going to be the 4. But in the playoffs, you don't go with a 5-man rotation. So like
Right.
he's not gonna make the playoff rotation. If it was 5, I think I'm willing to say put Luis Heel in that 5. But it's just not. There aren't 5. I don't know if he can. I don't know. I don't know how they view him coming out of the pen. I know they like to do younger arms going to the pen when they struggle from the starter role, but he hasn't struggled from the starter role. So like, do you mess with that and throw an inexperienced guy who's super duper young in the playoffs? We saw how that kind of has gone with a lot of pitchers. Devi didn't do horrible. They swapped with J Happ, but like they don't. They clearly don't.
Comparable though.
But it is comparable because they don't trust young pitchers. Like they didn't leave him in because of the lack of trust. They put the shitty known veteran. He went 1 inning. Yeah. So
no, Devi.
Yeah, Devi went 1 inning.
He did go 1 inning.
He went 1 inning, and it was the little switcheroo they thought they could pull off.
But that,
to answer the rounding third.
That's a good point though, because that shows their lack of trust of young pitchers. So like that's it right there.
Exactly, and that kind of plays into exactly what I was going to say. Luis Gil literally could not do any better. He has given up zero. There's not a damn thing he could do better. Normally we say these things as an exaggerating thing just to be a dick. Like, oh yeah, he could give up 0 the rest of the year and he wouldn't get a spot. He's literally given up 0 and he got sit down for Andrew fucking Heaney. That shows you exactly what their plans are for him. There you go.
Agreed.
He has a 0.00 ERA and he got sent and he made a start in AAA while a guy with a 6 ERA in the majors made a start for the Yankees in a meaningful game. So that tells you all you need to know.
We'll cut that.
Yeah, but the question was not what they're gonna do. It's who deserves it more. So what I took that as is who are you more confident in. So
next question comes to us from Robbie Debo. Actually, we already did this. He said Chapman should still be the closer in the playoffs. So actually, that's the reverse side of things. We talked about that at length. I don't think we need to readdress that. I think it's a bit of a fluid situation right now. I don't really know that the Yankees know what they're gonna do. I think that time will tell in the next 30 plus games. We'll figure out what they do. I think the jury's out. I think the jury's out. Like it's no longer a solid, surefire thing that Chapman will be the closer, I think. And I don't think that's an overreaction. So, and Antonio Morales said Loaisiga should be the closer. Okay, that's the flip side of things. We talked about that. I think we're all in agreement there. NYC Resistance said Voit is a better hitter than Rizzo. Damon, what do you think about that?
I agree with that sigh, by the way.
Yeah, I think
there's no question about the defense. Rizzo
there's no question about the defense.
Defense.
So I think the reason I'm hesitant because I don't want to just say yes and then that goes to the whole conversation about I think that he should be starting over Rizzo, which I don't. I think Rizzo should be starting because he's a better fielder and is probably an equal to enough hitter. It's really unfortunate because Voit was hitting like 500 the past 3 days or 4 days, whatever it was, and it sucks that you take him out and he probably lost his hot streak. But I don't know. I feel like Voit is the type of guy that can come up in clutch moments, and he's a guy that I want playing in the playoffs. So if we're talking playoff baseball, I would rather have Voit hit than Rizzo, but I'm not saying have him start over because that's a whole different story. But if we're saying game on the line and I want one person up there to be batting, I'm going to pick Voit over Rizzo.
See, I would not pick Voit over Rizzo.
It's a tough conversation.
Well, no. I totally agree. I'm actually on your side for the most part. I think as a pure hitter, Rizzo's better just because he has the plate discipline and the stuff like that. As far as putting up at bats goes, if I need somebody to lengthen a count, stuff like that, you're more prototypical everyday guy. I mean, I guess it is Rizzo, but I'm never going to lose sleep if Luke Voigt's on the line. But Luke Voit is a fucking hitter. He hits probably for more power. He hits for, honestly, probably a higher average.
Voit or Rizzo's hitting, what, 240 something? I think
exactly.
over that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's as far as average power, the measurable stats, I totally. You know what? Fuck it. I'm talking myself into Luke Voigt.
You know what?
My
This
only
it's
thing
funny you
that
say
Rizzo
this.
gives you, there's two things that Rizzo gives you real quick. That we lacked before. One, he takes you deep into counts and he'll fight off pitches. That's something that we've lacked. Luke Voigt's kind of a free swinger at times. Two, he's a left-handed bat, which short porch, left-handed bat, self-explanatory.
We've got the left-handed bat that we lacked though, and that's Gallo. So like I think that this was one of those questions where if I was the one asked, I would not say it's complicated. I think that bar none, Luke Voigt is a better hitter than Anthony Rizzo. I can sit through the argument that Anthony Rizzo is a better person to start at first base because of the defense. Like Anthony Rizzo is way better at defense than Luke Voigt is at hitting compared to Anthony Rizzo. So like overall, maybe Rizzo's better if you look at it that way, but I think there's not even that close. I think like Luke Voigt is a better hitter. He mashed home runs all last year. He's been hitting nothing but fantastic since he's been up this year, or when he hasn't been hurt this year.
Yeah, exactly what I just said. Like, again, it's the clutch factor too, and he just has that gene in him, and I need him playing in the playoffs.
I have that gene in me. Next question comes to us from Jay Benz, also known as the Greg Allen guy. He said Greg Allen deserves a playoff spot. He won't let us hear the end of the Greg Allen train, and honestly, for good reason. He didn't do bad at all. Like he left on good terms. He was on the opposite of the sun. He was on the moon, and I mean, I don't know, man. I love Greg Allen. I really think he could be a guy out there, but like. Now that was before he was great before Wade was playing good, and now that Wade's playing good, I feel like that played him out. And like because Wade is fast, so Greg Allen, if he was coming on as a pinch runner, Wade's got that. Wade can play the outfield. He could play multiple positions, so he beats him there because he's more of a jackknife, Murph. I mean, it's just how are you? I don't know. I think Murph.
There's no spot for him. There's no spot for him.
No, I think you're right.
I just between the service time shit that they're working with on it and everything like that. I will say this though, and it's not really that much of an exaggeration. They actually showed the stat from when Greg Allen was called up. The Yankees lead the league in stolen bases. If nothing else, he sparked some sort of change there.
I'm worried the stolen bases will go down though, because like
they will.
I saw those before because the team is not going to be speedy. Like we're going to have Judge is stealing bases, Glaber was stealing bases, DJ's surprisingly taking a few bags too, but like the guys that are stealing the bases are guys that are probably not going to be in an ideal world getting everyday reps out there. Like Velasquez is probably not going to be playing in the playoffs. He's not going to be stealing bags. He's one of the guys stealing bags. Wade also probably going to get some run, but not a starter's amount of run in an ideal world if nobody's hurt. I don't know. I just think I'm less pissed about the Greg Allen being sent down thing, and that's in large part due to Wade playing really well.
He did his job. He came up and did what we needed him to do, and he did it fantastically, and it was a lot of fun. But
I was pissed that he got sent down initially.
I think if he never got sent down, that would be one thing and be perfectly cool with it. But now that he's been down for a little bit, the team's been fine. They've actually been really really good. Not well. That didn't fuck. The team's been really good. He's been sent down.
Words.
It is what it is, and at this point, you're fucking with his options and everything like that if you bring him up. I'm still pissed that he got sent down in the first place. I don't think he deserved it, but at this point, you don't really gain much by bringing him back.
Agreed. Moving on. SKLOV28. Don't know how to say that, so I'll just spell them from here on out. Like if I don't understand how to say them. I mean, there's no way to say that one. So sorry, but he looks like he's playing baseball. Looks like a shortstop. So kid from the Bronx. Luke Voigt wins the first base job. By the end of the season. I mean, I think we kind of just already touched on that, but I'm gonna go ahead and disagree with that because I mean the defense is what they prioritize there. Rizzo's going to get a spot on this team starting every day. You see it today. I mean, this is not the first time that the Yankees have literally shown their hand as to what they're going to do in a situation where it's one of the two. They have already 2 or 3 times benched Voigt in favor of Rizzo because he plays a platinum glove at first base and he's a lefty bat. So we know they prioritize both of those things. Primarily, they prioritize the lefty bat thing because we've seen throughout the time before Voit and Gallo, before Rizzo and Gallo, excuse me, that they hit Brett Gardner 3 and 4, and like they prioritize that. Hicks was a goddamn guy at the top end of the order. He's dead now, and he sucks. So and he did suck when they were putting him up in the order. They just wanted to break it up. So yeah, I think that's over and done with. I don't think he's gonna win the first base job. However, I want him to play every day. So there's that.
I forgot Aaron Hicks was alive, honestly. I figured he was in like an Elmer's bottle somewhere.
He probably
by now.
is, to be honest.
I think he is too. R.I.P. So next one comes from Nick Sapola. Yankees should rock a 6-man rotation and make Nestor a part of the rotation for good.
You can't. I mean, no.
Because
Okay.
you can't make
Because you have a
Cole
guy
start
named
every
Garrett
sixth
Cole
day.
who's
Yeah.
your ace that you pay to pitch frequently, and that takes away time from him.
And
I don't
we
think
just
it's
said-
clear cut though. Remember at the beginning of the year when we were talking about having a 6-man rotation, we're like, yeah, you get
Well, we
Cole
did.
in. Exactly, you get
Yeah.
Cole in every 5 days, and then you rotate the 6-man. Okay,
Yeah,
that
and
I'm fine with.
Yeah, but at this point, like feel like that was the thing to start the season and see how it irons out because we had two really
Oh,
injury
totally
prone
agree.
starting pitchers,
And
and
that
eventually,
was-
clearly,
yeah.
that as Kluber showed, that's not going to happen. So at this point in the season, even if we did have a 6-man rotation, I don't think.
I agree.
like,
Makes no
Also, while
sense.
we're on the conversation of that, how about a fucking hats off to Jamison Tyone? We're in September right now.
We have
and
hats off.
Yeah, we haven't stopped praising him.
I'm
My
just-
hats have never gone back on my head.
I-
Yeah, Murph
I'm
has
just
a hat on.
saying.
You're the
Thank
only one
you,
with a
Murphy.
hat on. Oh no, Murph. Damon does too. Thank God.
My hair
I
is
just-
atrocious.
I mean, me too. Look at me.
Put your hat back
Dude.
on, Murph.
I'm just saying.
You wanna see
I
this
just
right
want to give. I just want to give the man some credit. We at the beginning of the year, it was like, yeah, it's inevitable that Tyone and Kluber are going to miss half the season. Kluber did miss half the season, but even if Tyone were to get hurt the next inning, he's put together a very respectable season for not pitching in 2 years, and he's pitched a shitload of innings for those circumstances. So good on him. And
we should go check the tape because we definitely set an over under for either wins or games or innings between Kluber and Tyone.
probably all three.
And
Rella
it's
got into a
probably
really
pretty
big.
close to what
You remember
we said
when
it was.
Rella got into his big over/under phase. There was like
Yeah.
a
Well,
2
Well, that was
month
for
period.
the roll calls.
Was it? I thought it was
Well,
at the
we
beginning
just
of the
did them for
season. It
roll
was just
calls,
like
'cause those were good to put at the end of roll calls.
No, I
Face
agree.
is probably gonna show its head next year when we do the roll calls too.
For some reason I thought it was during the season. It was just made me laugh. Sorry, carry on.
Suck.
No, it
my
no, but
eyes.
I never
we were kind
said
of like
anything
either they're
negative about
both
it.
going to go through a little injury stint, or one of them's going to be out for a really long time, and the other one's going to be able to pitch for a while. So I feel like we're probably pretty close to the number we set, if I had to guess, because Tyone's been healthy all year, but Kluber got hurt.
Next one comes to us from This Is Not a Hearn. Tyler Wade pulls the most girls on the Yankees. Wrong. That is Nestor Cortez. Next,
Agreed.
Avi Ratra. This might not be Gardner's last season.
Gardner's going to sign 1-year deals until
He's
he's,
gonna sign.
85.
Yeah, he's gonna.
Yeah, I've
be-
said it repeatedly. Jason Dominguez is going to be a role player behind Brett Gardner in 2028. So
Brett Gardner is literally going to have the Bobby Bonilla contract, but he's going to play it out. He's going to he's going to be getting paid until 2075, but he's going to be out in center field until 2075.
I no shit
just-
think that if Brett Gardner had a fast enough wheelchair at like 68, the Yankees would, and he wanted to come, they would like make sure that they're clay proof and be like, all right, you're good to fucking go. And they would start him over a perfectly healthy, like 25-year-old Dominguez.
He's got like ATV wheels on the
Yeah,
little
yeah,
scooter.
they
Yeah,
would.
yeah,
And he'd probably still hit the exact same he's done every year. He did like 212 with like 18 home runs.
Now, you know those
No.
beach wheelchairs?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Beach
Big,
wheels.
like yeah. Oh, that'd be funny. No, realistically, I hope he just gets to ride off into the sunset after a World Series. Whether that's
Oh,
this
careful on
year.
the sunset. Sun and
And
sunset.
the moon
are-
set.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, a
Dude,
moon set. My bad.
God. That's so sad because it's true. He's definitely going to be back next year. It's going to be the same bullshit they tell us every year.
Well, I mean,
He's the fourth. We're going to
If
get
we
the
win
interview
this
at
year,
the
fourth
beginning.
outfielder.
We're going to get the interview at the beginning of the year where he's like, "Yeah, no, I know my role," and then it's like that winking gif, and then come
He's gonna get to
fucking
the point. He's gonna get
April
to the point
11th.
where he's paying the Yankees $1.2 million to be able to play.
Dude, God, fuck us.
They're just gonna trade contracts back and forth. Like, you pay me this year, I'll pay you next year, and we'll just call it even.
We'll just keep it going.
It's like you're gonna have another superstar like Soto's gonna hit the market, and the Yankees are gonna have like $100 million payroll by that time. It's like,
Now we're good. We got Brett Gardner.
Brett, yeah, hey Brett, you want to come back for $500,000? Like I know
Brett's
Juan
a
Soto.
lefty, though.
Yeah,
So
well,
is Soto.
so Juan Soto's sitting in the parking lot of Yankee Stadium, and they're like, "Can you fucking just go somewhere else? We got Brett Gardner, dude. Go away."
And this isn't sarcastic Brett Gardner slander. I mean, we've done enough of that. I have slandered Brett Gardner.
Everybody
before.
loves. If you hate Brett Gardner, you're a piece of shit.
Listen, and,
I agree.
Nobody hates Brett Gardner.
Nobody hates the people, like, and nobody hates what they've done for us in the past. It's a little bit similar to like Boone. Like, I like Boone the person. I didn't like Boone the manager. I'm starting
There's
to
some
like Boone the
people I hate.
manager.
Yeah, but you can't tell me you don't love the way Brett Gardner plays. Yeah, he's hitting
I was
like
agreeing with you.
whatever. But like I don't know. I'll slander him a little bit, but
I
there's
don't
love
like
there.
when he's playing.
There's a
really
lot of
bad.
love there.
Next question comes to us from not really a question. So EVDZC, interesting Instagram handle, but he says Yanks go on to win 21 in a row, which would break the Athletics
No.
win record. They had 20.
No. Reverse jinx. Works every time.
We are gonna beat it. Absolutely, we are. I'm not reverse jinxing it. I'm slapping my nuts right on the table. Where we're winning 32 in a row.
Do you know how cool that
We've
would be
got
if that actually
we have
happens?
to play. We have to play another wild card team for the next 4 games. I really don't see us sweeping a 4-game set against the A's.
Hush.
As cool as that would be.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm being real here. Come on.
yeah.
I'm not.
I was
Like
looking
we're
at
not.
I'm on
it.
I don't
cloud
think.
nine.
I
I'm
think
never
we
being
lose
real
our.
again.
I say what you want. I think we lose it on this series.
I mean, we have the fucking, like, yes, we have good teams we're going up against, and baseball is a bitch of a sport. Like, you cannot just win. You don't sweep series like that. Before this whole stretch, we've swept like 2 series. We had trouble sweeping series. Granted, we were playing bad.
Yeah, well,
but-
we went 2-1 like 15 times.
Yeah, like we have a good, like we have so much, like that in Moneyball when they were going on that wild streak, they felt the energy and like they had it. It felt like you were gonna get a streak like that, and I feel like we kind of have that. And it almost doesn't matter who's in our way right now because it's just like, who's playing us today? We're gonna beat you. Like that's just feels like the mentality right now. And I know we're playing good teams coming up. We have Oakland for 3 more after this. Oakland's a great team. We're in Oakland, which we haven't always been good. It's been a fucking dungeon.
1-9 since 2017.
And who we're playing after Oakland?
Angels.
And Angels are not a great team, but
Here we go now though. We got
And we got the O's.
We're winning tonight, okay? Like we're winning currently. I'm not saying we're gonna win. I'm saying we're winning
No, we're
currently.
gonna win.
We got Garrett Cole tomorrow. We got Cy Young Cortez the next day. And then Montgomery to close out the series.
I didn't
It's
hear
a pretty
Heaney
good
in there.
recipe. I'm not gonna say anything, but if we were gonna go on a winning streak and continue it, I would like those pitchers to be pitching in
You know
that
what this
in that,
feels like?
in that way.
you know what this feels like? Like
but we got-
what you just did felt playoffy. Like it felt like we're mapping out things, and I'm getting those vibes. I'm getting butterflies right now. Like what you just did, you just basically mapped out like, okay, so we can snag this game and then we can get this game. I like this matchup. It's starting to feel that way. Things are starting to fall into place.
And the boys are
There is
bopping.
one thing we have to win the division. Like I'm just thinking about it more and more. If we do all this, 41-41, magical comeback, get Gallo, get Rizzo, and then lose at home in the wild card, I don't think I'll ever mentally recover. Like
Or
I
if I
will
did not.
legitimately, you'll have
I'm
to
so
come.
with you.
You'll have to come get me out of a home. Like there's just no
Well, luckily,
way.
you'll be in New York, so we can put you right in a home.
That's
right here.
fine.
There's some nice homes here in New York City, I think. Probably not, to be honest.
Can you guys visit? Is there like visitation? Can you wheel me around outside so I can see the building still?
Yeah, I guess you'll be
Probably.
wheelchair.
Okay.
You know,
Is that a fat joke, Damon?
Wheel Chandler.
no, that was a joke about the wheelchair size for Brett Gardner.
Mm-hmm.
All right, last question comes to us from JR3710. He said, Sevy comes back as a closer for the playoffs. Figured that was a good one to end this on. just not gonna happen. I can name so many people that I'd rather have closed games than Luis Severino coming off 2 injuries, not pitching in 2 years.
He hasn't pitched since
and-
2018.
and never closing. On top of all that, he hasn't pitched since 2018. So
I'd rather have Chandler close.
Oh,
I'd
I would
ra-
also rather have me close.
yeah, no, I'd rather realistically, I'd rather have like Wandy Peralta close. Is that
Yeah,
weird?
no,
Yeah.
He's pitched out of the pen. Also, wild thing that I just brought that up because if you had to guess which inning Wandy has been used most since he joined the Yankees, what would it be?
7.
8th inning.
Okay, well,
I feel like it's
kind
gonna
of
be the
phrased
ninth.
it. I phrased it as like you'll be shocked to hear it was in a late inning. It's the 8th.
Damn.
And I'm right. Of course.
Yeah, what's new?
Thanks.
Just kind of wild. Just kind of wild. Anything else we want to talk about before we sign off? While we're recording this, just to give you guys a little bit of an update, it is we're ending this episode at 6-2 Yankees. So Yankees are currently beating the Oakland Athletics. Mitchie Two Bags is up, and yeah, hopefully
There's
they can
some
hang
traffic.
on.
There's some traffic.
There's some traffic. This is
Now,
they're not just gonna go away. They're not.
Well,
just
I
gonna go
was going to say this is a situation where Boone needs to get himself out of this thing, but Boone's ejected, so it doesn't really matter anymore.
Oh, he did get ejected.
Yeah.
See, I
Yeah,
didn't know if he
you're
actually
fucking
did. 'Cause
rightfully
he was
so.
screaming, but I never saw him get like thrown. So I was like, how did he not get ejected?
I saw 2 very clear. That's fucking horse shits out of his mouth.
Yeah,
he's out.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think he did say what you said, Chandler. That I think he said that was in the other fucking batter's box. I'm pretty
because
sure
it fucking
I saw
was.
the mouth read.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
ugh.
sure that's what he said. I didn't know.
might
I never
actually-
saw him get ejected though.
I will
didn't know
say
he actually
this
got
before we actually close this out. I retired my fucking Savages in the Box shirt after we dipped below 500, like at almost the halfway point. I might take it out of retirement. We'll see.
I wouldn't mess with what's going on right now.
Don't touch it.
You're right. Okay,
Where
I
the-
might burn it. Throw it away.
Where are the
And
standing
Chandler, I
clothes?
expect you to do tequila shots until we lose.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
you
will.
didn't even tell the people. You told us before hopping on the air. What's been your tradition? You're the reason why we're on an 11-game win streak right now.
Yeah, not to take the credit, but like,
Totally
so
to take the credit.
I think we won 2 or 3 in a row. So basically I ran out of liquor other than tequila. So I was like, well, I'll take a good luck tequila shot, see what's happening. And we just won a couple in a row. I forgot to take one. We lost that game to the Whites, the Field of Dreams, and then I've taken one every game since, and we're 11-0 since. So
And if
Well, now
anyone
you said
listening
it.
has been doing something weird like that for the last
Yeah, let us know.
12 days, let us know and keep doing it.
yeah, don't ever change because
And if
I
you aren't doing anything, don't
Yeah, don't
try and
be a hero.
manufacture something now, because it's just not.
I
Gonna
know I'm a role model for everybody around the globe, but you know, if you're not doing something currently, don't hop on the trade now because it's full fucking speed ahead.
Goddamn right. This is gonna be
32
a
straight.
game.
You heard it here first.
32 straight. That would be.
And then
fucking
Heaney's
wild.
going to give up 14 in the first, and then we lose.
Heaney's
But
got a
that's fine.
revenge game against the Angels.
Yeah,
God.
Pretty sure
revenge.
he's starting the first game.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of
Jeez.
bad blood between them.
Shohei Ohtani.
Otani's going to hit a ball. Over under Otani's farthest home run off Heaney because I'm assuming he's going to have multiple in the first inning off of
Isn't he
Heaney.
still leading off?
Ohtani?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know which direction that stadium faces, but if it faces the rest of the United States, it might land in like Kansas.
That I'd say Kansas is generous.
I think it faces the ocean.
All right, so like
Pretty sure.
Japan.
The
Yeah,
hell
he's
the hell
gonna-
do
He's
you
gonna
know
hit
that?
it. He's gonna hit
Go
his
by the
childhood
top of the
home
highway.
in
Yeah, I
Japan
was gonna
if
say,
it faces the ocean.
if
The
it
other side of
faces
the
out,
ocean.
like I'm boarding up my windows because Otani's gonna hit one. Realistically, I think he hits one 500 feet off of Heaney.
You think anybody's still listening to this part of the episode?
If they are, then
I hope they are.
good
This
on
is-
you.
This is good stuff.
Jamie, I was about to walk in a run.
If you made it
Don't
this
say
far,
that.
if you made it this far, you guys are the real ones. And Murph had the idea that we're gonna take this back end parts of the show and just lump them all into an off-season episode of just nonsense, like conversations like who would win in a race, Gary Sanchez or Aaron Boone, and just like all nonsense like that. So if you enjoy that, let us know. If you enjoy the podcast, make sure to leave us a 5-star rating on iTunes. We really appreciate it. Like I said before, I will literally swallow a baseball, leather and all, if you guys get 260 ratings by the next episode. Guys kind of slacked on the last one, so 5 stars on iTunes. Swipe up and do that damn thing. If you like the video version of a podcast, we have that available. It's always live the night before, so it's a little bit early release on YouTube, Bronx Pinstripes YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe to that. That's always a lot of fun. If you subscribe to the Bronx Pinstripes YouTube and send us a screenshot that you subscribe to the YouTube, you could potentially win a free t-shirt. And they're probably not going to be any of the t-shirts that Chandler made because those stink and nobody buys those. But it might be a nasty t-shirt.
It'll be a Nestor Jackknife t-shirt.
That is coming to the store soon. So make